was the teenage rose. Dear fatherland, there was no tongue can tell. How can we ever pay the due? That we will win in joy and love and peace. We'll be to the name ever true. Land of promise, land of glory, love, life, and joy are all restored. Thine the honor, thine devotion, and deep endearment forevermore.
It is quite interesting if one is to describe or define success, especially student success. There was a time when I was convinced that student success was measured by grades and diplomas and certificates, but I have since then changed my mind. To me, diplomas are not enough to measure or determine whether a student is successful or not, because school to me is a place where you develop skills, and it's not just a place where you take courses, take an examination, and at the end you're judged worthy of obtaining a certificate. So that's why I'm very much interested in what Teach Connect is doing, because I strongly believe there has to be an overhaul of the entire education system. Children learn lots of things, but a lot of what they learn is not useful. And the reason why I say so is it's difficult to see what impact what they learn has.
The fourth industrial revolution. And a lot of people were like, what's that? I mean, we haven't even started the first, and they're talking about the fourth. But the interesting thing is, the fourth industrial revolution gives us a unique opportunity in that it is about technology. I'll give you a simple example. I went to a police station once, and the officer who was supposed to take my statement had to take a statement from a guy who is from the northern region who doesn't speak English or French. Fortunately, they both speak Fulbe. So the guy gave his statement, but you can't write the statement in Fulbe. So he was supposed to translate that into French and then read his translation in Fulbe to the guy to...
Hi everyone, I'm Yaounde Elliot Changili and the director of Shield's Career Center, attending the second edition of Rethinking Education Conference, and this year's theme is enabling student success. This has been a program that's brought together proprietors, principals, educators, head of centers, educational centers coming together to redefine what success in our current context is. And it has been an amazing session, it has been an amazing conference. We've been able to brainstorm and redefine from what a layman thinks student success is, what some of our educational systems have defined success to be, and seeing what success could mean, so that we're bringing the young generation back on track, and it's also been an amazing session, learning how we can move from inquiry-based learning to project-based learning, where we have children and students engaged think about solutions they can bring to everyday problems that they find in their milieu, be it at home, be it in the community, be it in school, to be problem solvers and solution bringers. And we did not only end there. We came up also. We talked about how to enhance technology in what we do, how in our different milieux and a sector of work where we're training, be it in the professional milieu or in schools, how we can enhance technology, make work easier for us, how to be effective in the technological applications that we're using. And this did not only end with us. This did not only end with us listening to different presenters who are experts in their field, but also having an exchange with other professionals. Having exchange with other stakeholders like proprietors, like principals, where we had to see the new generation, had to discuss with the older generation what is it that they've been doing over the past 20 years as educators, as principals, and what has been working for us, the new generation who are coming up with training models, how we can come together and redefine success, how we can feed on what is more impactful and important, and leverage on needs other than emphasizing on studies, other than emphasizing on subject matters or topics. Like, take it for instance, all of us went to school and we drew and we had to name part of an insect, be it an ant, be it a grasshopper. Guess what? Many years in life, we don't know what we're using it for, but a child can sit and see a problem now using the project base and be able to think, how can I come in and address this, solve this? And so this whole conference, it's about rethinking how we can come up with curriculum deliverables that can push forward economic development and growth in our community, as well as make the new generation and everyone else to be more socially responsible. Thank you.
So thank you very much for attending this conference on enabling students' success. I think it's been a wonderful day having different stakeholders of education come together to share the understanding of what student success is all about and how they can all contribute to it, how they can support themselves or support each other, allow students to survive in the 21st century era. So I think one of the key things we've actually helped to conceptualized throughout this event is the idea of enabling and enriching student experience. So when students go to school, they're not only talking about academic outcomes, but all things about their morals, things about their personality, their ideas, their talents, their gifts. And we believe that's what's enabling for schools, that we want schools to be going to allow students to have these grounds that they can actually become better citizens that can contribute to the general economy of the country. Thank you.
Hello everybody, I am Shang Harris Riven and I am here on behalf of Teach Connect with whom I work, and this year we organized a conference on rethinking education in Cameroon for student success. And this year I focused on the subject shifting towards inquiry and project-based learning approaches to education. What is it actually? Project-based approach makes it's a type of teaching technique and learning technique in which the learner is expected to solve a complex problem which is related to his society and authentic with the knowledge he or she has gotten from the class. And I say project-based learning is an excellent tool for the 21st century because we need that our learners, after a course, be able to solve a practical problem because it enhances in them creativity, critical thinking, collaboration and communication skills. Now, how do we implement project-based learning approach? The project-based learning approach is implemented in classes where learners are grouped together and then they are given a task which is related to the environment, or they propose a task, and then the teacher acts as a facilitator, a coach, and a model to help them to carry out that task. And how are they assessed by this? The only assessment they have is when they produce the product that they send out. We assess them from that, or the presentation they are going to make. So at the end of their course, they should bring out a product or a presentation, what they are going to do, and be able to market the product. Why not? And so to make a lesson in using the project-based approach, you need to start from the bigger image, from the end. What do the students want at the end? Now, from there, now you can now develop a course, and while refraining yourself to the content, you shouldn't go out of the content and the scope. And so, although it is time-consuming, it is the best method to make our students be creative.
Hi, my name is Beche Mayok. I'm an educational technologist, and I was a speaker at the Rethinking Education conference organized by Teach Connect. My presentation was focused on how we can use technology to enhance student learning and success in life. And I made mention I brought to light the problems facing education today, which are problems of accessibility and quality. I made mention of how technology can solve these problems. I also shed light on the problems faced while using technology to solve the problems. And I said that we should, in order to manage these problems, or in order to avoid these problems, we must keep a balance between technology and in-person training. And
Hi, I'm Kumowa Tanshom, and in Group 1. I participated today in the Rethinking Education program that was organized by Teach Connect. And in this group, we spoke about student success, what's the definition of student success in the 21st century era. And we shared a lot about the diverse ways in which you can define student success, and we took into consideration the fact that student success must involve the student being able to come out with community-based and project-based learning, and also come out with projects in the community that can help develop and change the community. And added to that, we also talk about the fact that student success also must help the student, must be able to help the student to go and excel, not only within the community, but in a global stage. Added to this, we looked at various diverse ways of education and various means in which we can achieve student success. And we did make mention of the fact that parents must be included, the stakeholders must be included, and we as individuals must be included to help students to achieve holistic success.
Hi, my name is Clement Gosong, a participant at the Rethinking Education Conference organized by Teach Connect. Today I've been very impressed with the knowledge being shared, and as part of my contributions, I worked with a group of teachers and stakeholders in education to come up with how we to learn about approaches and schooling experiences that can enable students' success. As part of our work, we suggested that schools should focus on putting out there student project-based assessments and project-based learning for students to be more engaged in the process. And I think one of the key lessons that I learned from this entire experience, or my takeaway from this session, is that we have to start in our individual capacities to create change in our communities and not wait for a government to come and create change. So as a participant, it is my responsibility to go back to my home institution and create impact in my individual level and not wait for collective cooperation.
So I was in group 3, and we were required to come up with practical ways in which we can engage the various stakeholders in order to achieve success for students. And we identified the various stakeholders. We looked at parents and guardians, we looked at the community, we looked at social institutions, the government, the students themselves, and all educators basically. So the practical ways in which we can engage all these stakeholders to drive student success, some of the points are by making sure that the information that the children get in the school is reinforced at home. We also looked at like changing the mindset of the people in the community by providing them with the right information and empowering them. That way, that way there will be a multiplier effect on the community at large. And then in terms of the school stakeholders in the school, provision of resources that will facilitate teaching and also facilitate learning. And we also talked about different learning methods, methods that will be adapted to the various needs of the students.
I'm a Mother Eunice. I'm an educationist. I was in group 4, and we were looking at different technologies that can reinforce learning for students to be successful. And in our group, we try to redefine reinforcement. Yeah. We try to redefine enhancing learning, which we talk about reinforcing. We also talk about engaging and energizing learning. And we looked at the success to the student being that means in which students are able to impact their environment. We looked at the different technologies in 2 categories. We looked at the hardware and we looked at the software. For the hardware, we try to identify phones, laptops, desktops, projectors, microphones, tablets, as a means to which we can enhance learning for student success. And we also went to the software where we looked at WhatsApp, we looked at Google, we also looked at MIA Academy, we also looked at Google Classroom, we also looked at aspects of that children can do a Zoom class. Now, in all this, we're trying to see the importance of technology to enhancing learning. And we came to understand that from the American Institute of E-Learning, success through technology has about 20 to 60% done just face-to-face, which is 8 to about 10%. So we are trying to say that with technology, a student has better chances and more chances to be successful in our society of today.
Thank you for giving me this opportunity. I assisted in the seminar for connecting teachers and changing minds, rethinking. I was very impressed, and I took part in the second expose that how can schools impact success in the life of the children. So we came up with some points as a summary that teachers should re-insist on the project-based learning that brings creativity in the life of the child, so that even after the education and the government cannot give something for the child to sustain himself or herself, he can create something that will employ him. And then secondly, we talked on the teaching methods and the teaching styles, that teachers or schools should practice flip method, that if you are teaching in a rural area, the teaching cannot go if you don't master the language also. So teachers, when they get there, they should sit down and learn while the children also teach them. And we came in with another point that schools should create special funds for the children to facilitate their creativity, because the child can come up with a point to do and lack of finances, but the school should support that child to come up with that creativity, and it will impact him or her in future. So I am happy because the seminar ended well, and it was a pleasure taking part in that seminar.
When I went there, that school had only 2 classes, and the demand for English education is too high. People know why they propose 1 hour they are training in camp on the first day. I was saying that it's just a mindset, as you said it. I have done 2 classes. I said there was meditation and administration classes. When I went there, they told me that PTA money is to pay teachers, buy things in school, and we share the rest. I said no. We have the problem of lack of classroom. It's to start somewhere. And when we have this problem of lack of classroom, this money is to solve these problems. Except you join them there to eat that money. And I say, you will not eat, I will not eat, nobody will eat. As the children are coming in, and the teachers, the parents, we exercise the importance of paying that money. They pay. And we recruit that money into this one is going to pay teachers, this one is going for paying light. I was the one who dragged lights into that school to put that money PTA, because nobody was to eat that money. And at the end, the remaining at the end, we had to use that money to put a foundation. It is just as he said, mindset to stop that correction from you. And at the end today, that school is the biggest school, the biggest nursing school in the world. Parents have seen that the money they pay is being used. That's why they bring their children, and they've seen that the space that was lacking, we have created that space. And they're coming. Except you just come and join the government and you want to practice that bad fashion. That's why the thing stop there. When you go there, use your initiative and try to change people. Change your own self. And you will see change coming. So I am begging, because when I hear a town school say there's no light, why we in Gabwa there? We have taken our light, we have taken our water, we have taken our water in school, we have struggled by ourselves through the PTA fund and the small thing that comes in to build ourselves, and the school is becoming classical. Then I begin to wonder, then there must be something wrong, that who cares? They say yes, they don't pay PTA in the government school. Then if you, the administration, support them to eat that money, they will not pay. But if you support them to pay that money, they will pay. And if they will pay, if they are only seeing you using that money for what they are paying. We should come out from that saying that no, the government is a government school. If you go out to an environment, you want to change that environment, you will change it. And my school now is 250 kids every year. I even drive parents to go. They come. There is another nursing school near that they created. They go, no, I'm not going to be there. Here, you people teach. Here, there is light that they can manage. Here, there is comfort. Here, there is. So, when you go to an environment, do something. There should be change of that mindset.
Thank you very much. That's an exceptional leadership.
knowledge kills ignorance, and to me that is one of the ultimate sources of power lies in education.
Let's digitalize education.
If we must change the world, if we must change a community, if we must change our society, then we must change our educational system for the betterment of both the community and both the students. Thank you.
As a 21st century learner, literacy skills are very, very important. For that reason, technology is a transmission means that we need.
Change needs to start from one individual, one person, and not wait for an entire community before change should happen.
Education is power, don't neglect it.
Education is changing minds, changing souls, changing individuals, and even changing the society. Thank you.
Learning is power.